the question that I had kind of ties into like what we've been talking about. I know like some people will automatically think acceptance and respect go hand in hand, that like they're the same thing. And I definitely know that there's a difference in there, like to me. So I was wondering if you think that there is a difference between like accepting or agreeing with somebody versus respecting them.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, there's a huge difference. I definitely think you can respect someone, but not necessarily believe in what they believe. And I think it's important to understand that because I definitely think that each and every one of us can and should give respect to people. But I think it's important to understand that, the core value, core system of belief that you have, um, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are agreeing with what someone else is doing, or what someone else believes. You could be a good person. You could treat people with respect. You could hold them to a high regard as a person, human dignity, and so forth. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are agreeing with them. I think that's very important.
Yes, most definitely. Like, so I definitely can see a major difference between both of them as well. But I feel like society kind of throws it to where like they throw it in together. It's almost like if you don't agree with me, then you don't respect me and you hate me, basically, is what it sounds like. It's like
Oh yeah, for sure.
so it's like I hear that a little too often, and it just I don't know, it gets a little like it just doesn't make sense to me, like on why that gets brought up the way it does. Like so I guess because maybe people don't know the maybe the true like meaning of what it means to like be accepting or be respectful. So so yeah, like even when it comes to respect, like you can respect somebody's opinion even if you feel like their opinion is wrong, like or a wrong opinion is like and you know that their opinion is still valid. So like so I think that that's definitely important to point out. So like so I just think I just wish that I would hear conversation change in a way to where it doesn't sound like if like you only respect somebody only if you agree with what they're saying. And like I said, I just feel like nobody can have like friendly, well, not friendly debates, but like more calm, kind of like respectful debates. Like I feel like
True.
it's either like you are extremely loving or you're like the most hateful person ever. So it's like there's like one or the other. It's like there's no gray area in this, it
Sure.
seems like.
Yeah, I think that there is some period of times where it's obviously we should respect people, but I definitely think that we should, when it comes to, and I'm a huge fan of really understanding the core principles and values that really help us live the lives that we're meant to be. I'm a strong Christian. I believe in Christian principles and values, and I definitely think that standing up on those values and principles is important, and we can respect people, but I definitely think that's important that we take a stand to contradict things that other people may say or they may believe in a way where we're not coming across as like aggressive, but we're standing firm on the foundation of truth and principles, because what that ultimately does is that plants seeds in the minds of people. And sometimes you'll plant a lot of seeds and nothing grows. But the fact that if one single seed grows, it's as if every single seed you planted grew. And I think that's a very important thing. Really standing on principles and contradicting when necessary is something that I think is very important to really take into account, all the while maintaining respect. So,
Yes, yes, most definitely. I definitely agree with you on all areas with that because it's definitely good ways to go about doing it. Like I know there's so many like different routes that people take whenever it comes to a debate. And I said, I just feel like if there was more respect or like or anything that you have mentioned, like if there was more like ways that people can just I don't know, just go about just having conversation or like something that they don't agree on. I said I feel like this world would be a lot more peaceful and there wouldn't be so much problems, so much drama and so much in a way like hatred. Like I feel like there's a lot of hate in this world, like right now, especially in
True.
the past couple of years, like with even like just so many debates, like whether it's like COVID, whether you get the vaccine or you don't get the vaccine,
True.
or you wear a mask, you don't wear a mask, or it's like just seems like should you travel during COVID, should you not? So I feel like COVID has definitely been like to me like a huge challenge. Like it's definitely well not really a challenge for me, but I guess a challenge for society in general. Like I feel like some people are like fully like, oh, like yes, COVID exists, but I'm still going to live my normal life, whereas other people are thinking, like I think we should all, kind of keep to ourselves and like
True.
don't interact with people as much, or social distance, stuff like that. So I feel like COVID has brought like in a way like an ugly side out of people. It's brought a lot of major debates, and listen, I don't feel like I feel like some people do, but I feel like most people don't respect other people's sides, because if you get vaccinated, then it sounds like you're scared of COVID. But then if you don't get vaccinated, then it sounds like you could care less about the people around you. So it's like it really it just it can get nasty out there.
Sure, absolutely. No problem. And yeah, exactly. No, I think that sometimes, when we are in the position where we're thinking more, I definitely think we're better off. And I think that, I'd be remiss to say that, COVID was all negative. I definitely think that there were some positive aspects that came out of it, because I definitely think it allowed people to really acknowledge how they're living their lives, their perspectives, their patterns and thinking, and how this actually translating into the results that they're getting. And what we've seen is really people aren't just there are people who are very quick to connect dots of information they do not know. And they do it because it's an intellectually convenient thing to do. When we take the time and really understand the details of what's going on, you realize like, wow, we're having a lot of things that are going on is really a distraction from what we could be doing. And so it's just, we have to be independent thinking about how we see and view particular problems in our life, so that way we can come up with a viable solution going forward. And that's going to be the result of people like me and you thinking at a higher level, so that way we can really get at the core of the issues. Because at the end of the day, it's not a vaccine issue, it's not a COVID issue, it's not any type of issue. It comes from a priority issue, which stems from a vision issue. And it's important to understand what the root cause of the problem is, as opposed to just the symptoms. We've been trying to treat the symptoms for a long period of time. Let's get at the root, the heart of it all. And that's all about really understanding and the foundation of the culture that we're creating with how we view things like respect.
Yes, most definitely. It is a very good way of putting it. It's like, yeah, many people are looking at these other things, like other little things, and it like causes distractions toward like from what we actually should be focused on, which is the big picture of it all. So, yeah, like I said, that's definitely a really good point to make. And
Sure.
like I know, like as you mentioned, like I know in 2020, like when COVID hit, I know it brought me a lot of like self-reflection throughout that year. Like I know when we first met, we spoke about some like goals that we had in mind.
Sure,
And
sure.
actually, before I go into the next question, this is gonna be a side note, but how is your goal as far as the are you doing like 1,000 miles in a year? What was your goal again?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm actually running. My plan is to run 1,000 miles this year. I've been a huge fan of running, and I definitely think that when you have particular activities that allow you to expand your capacity as well as develop your mental toughness, that is additionally it gives you that slight edge to really get ahead in areas beyond just that physical activity. And running for sure has been doing it. And at first, it's pretty cool because the very first portion, it's gonna suck, and it sucks. But do you have the will and the courage to last during that first portion to actually achieve the blessings on the second half? And it took a while to get over that first hump, but now I just enjoy the blessings of it. It's absolutely phenomenal activity. Highly recommend it. If you're watching this, go for a run. Absolutely phenomenal, 100%.
Yeah, I wish I can get into that mindset. I'm still trying to work on that because I would think that like I would love to have that kind of mindset of just wanting to run and just like and that's just so it's good for your body and it's just like I said like you said it challenges yourself to do better and lesson just even you mentioning that before we started this recording you mentioned that you went on a 5 mile workout today like a 5 mile it's like, oh my gosh, like I wish I could do something like that, which can the reason why I bring it up is because I know like not only is it important to respect other people, but it's also important to respect ourselves. And for me, self-respect is a topic that I know we brought up recently in like text messaging and all. And but I feel like for me, like self-respect is a challenge for me. So I was wondering, for you, do you ever have moments where self-respect becomes a challenge?
Sure, absolutely no problem. And this is awesome because a lot of times we think about respect in the sense of one person to the next, and that's really important. I definitely think we could be more productive in that area. But also, I definitely think there's one thing that we leave out too much, and that's self-respect. You look in your mirror, you see the person that you see every single day, every time you get up. How are you building the relationship with the person you see in the mirror? And that's all about self-respect. And to give like a good example of it, each and every one of us has a goal, a dream on our hearts. And each and every day we get so many opportunities to put ourselves in the position to get one step closer to that goal. And when we talk about self-respect, we talk about really our patterns of thinking and what we're doing to get closer to that goal. And sometimes the adversary likes to infiltrate your mind to cause you to not necessarily believe in the steps it takes to get to your goal. And hey, for example, there's one period of time I went to sleep at 12 a.m. I was supposed to get about 5 o'clock in the morning to go for a run. Woke up at 4:45. This is a long time ago. Woke up 4:45, and I hit the snooze button, and so come 5 o'clock, I'm dead. I'm sleeping. And when I woke up at 6, you're like, wow, I just missed my workout that would allow me to put myself in the position to get closer to my goal. And while I made it up, there are certain ways that the adversary works in your life to really curtail how you view yourself. And because the fortune is in the follow-up, when you don't follow up on the things that the promises you made to yourself, that destroys your self-image. And that's just an example of just something that really takes a hit at your self-respect. Like, for example, let's say you're trying to eat healthy. You eat a cupcake when you're not supposed to. Are you going to earn your self-respect? Are you going to develop your self-image? What do you think of yourself now that you did something that you promised yourself not to do? You're not going to think yourself in the way that you're truly meant to be, because you were made in God's image, made to be someone greater than you ever thought you could. Stop letting yourself off the hook. There are so many different ways in which you can make an impact in this world that pulls at the heartstrings of people, that helps people get to a next level. And it starts with you being that example. Self-respect is such an important tool, because when you win your self-respect day in, day out, you develop the confidence, the courage to put yourself out there and continue to build a foundation of winning in all aspects of life. So that was just kind of give an example of, of self-respect. Kind of went on a little bit on a tangent there, but self-respect is a very important tool because it's your self-image. It's how you think of yourself. Put yourself in a position to think of yourself at a higher level.